Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
Debate begins on the Commercial Enterprises Bill in the House of Assembly.
The Attorney General addresses proposed changes to the Bahamian Nationality Act.
The HMBS Lawrence Major ship and crew get a warm-hearted welcome back home.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Vonique Tude. Topping news tonight, debate began on the controversial Commercial Enterprises Bill today. While the administration says the bill will build a stronger and more stable economy by encouraging investment, it is not without some controversial immigration provisions. In Parliament today, members of the governing party sought to defend the bill, with Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest accusing the opposition of playing on the fears of Bahamians. Jasmine Brown reports.
Before debate even began this morning, opposition leader Philip Brave Davis stood to his feet asking the government to defer that debate. However, it did not sit well with the governing party.
I think engagement of the Bahamian people in respect to the consequences of this bill is required, but they have a deep vested interest. If it is the people's time, the people ought to have more say in this bill.
Well, that did not sit well with St. Anne's Member of Parliament Brent Simonet, who pointed out that the bill was tabled more than a month ago.
This bill was laid for first reading on the 18th of October, nearly 1 month ago. More than 1 month ago. There has been, and it has been publicized by Prime Minister and various ministers, and has been, so to come at this stage to seek an adjournment or a postponement is not acceptable.
The back and forth continued for several minutes, with Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis insisting it was not the time for Davis to speak up.
Mr. Speaker, we have reached now second reading of the bill. The member had sufficient time to review the bill, whatever comments he has. Now that he is in Parliament, he can bring that forth during his debate. Each and every one of them has made statement that they will debate, so they have the opportunity.
The Minnis administration claims the bill will encourage both domestic and foreign investment in the Bahamas and will create economic zones. However, it also allows for an employee of an enterprise that has a specified commercial enterprise certificate to enter the Bahamas freely. That application has to be made 30 days before entry. That certificate will remain valid for 1 year and is subject to approval. In terms of applications for work permits, the bill also explains that the Director of Immigration has 14 days to grant the work permit, but if the director fails to do so within that time period, the work permit is deemed to have been granted. A work permit granted will be for 3 years and renewable for an additional period of up to 3 years. During his contribution to the debate, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest insisted the bill is only seeking to make the Bahamas more appealing to investors.
Don't look at this from an immigration or narrow view of immigration, because that's not what it's about. This is about changing the paradigm in this country. It is about giving us an opportunity to grow. It is about recognizing the fact that we have a deficit of talent in this country to grow some of these niche markets, and that we need help to develop them. It is about recognizing that we have the ability, we have the tools, the basic tools to diversify and to grow our economy, but we cannot do so by holding back and holding on to the past. We must move forward. We must give ourselves an opportunity.
He also chastised members of the opposition for their criticism of the bill.
I find it unfortunate, and I hope that the member for Exuma will rethink his statement that he cannot support this bill, given the fact that this is, again, not about immigration, but this is about progress. This is about making the ease of doing business, improving the ease of doing business, both for foreigners and for Bahamians, and this is about creating opportunity for Bahamians at the end of the day by expanding opportunity for our young people.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, as the government touts the commercial enterprises bill as a positive for Bahamians, one member of the opposition is bashing it. Member of Parliament for the Exumas in Ragged Island, Chester Cooper, says the bill rolls out the red carpet for foreigners.
Mr. Speaker, I do not have a xenophobic bone in my body, but we should always seek to level the playing field for Bahamians. I invite this government, therefore, to look again, take a very close look again at Schedule 1. There is a lot of devil in the detail.
The Progressive Liberal Party MP says given some of those controversial immigration provisions, the bill will be a hard sell to struggling Bahamians who find it hard to do business in their own country. He added that he shares the concerns of many Bahamians as he insisted he cannot support that bill.
Upon reading this bill, it appears to target niche industries the Bahamas is not known for, which is by no means the bad thing. Were it not coupled with the immigration elements that's built into the bill.
After being less than friendly in an interview with reporters outside Cabinet yesterday, Attorney Carl Bethel was in a better mood today as he addressed proposed changes to the Bahamian Nationality Act at the Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau's meeting today. Giorgio Bain reports.
Attorney General Carl Bethel says the government is not attempting to ram proposed changes to the Bahamian Nationality Act down anyone's throat, and they're definitely not going behind anyone's back. Bethel said he met with members of the Christian Council today before speaking at the Rotary Club meeting this afternoon. President of the BCC, Delton Fernandez, has accused the government of taking draconian actions regarding the proposed changes to the Bahamas Nationality Act.
Nobody is seeking to force anything on anybody, as they say colloquially, ram anything down anybody's throat. We are seeking to have and engage in a dialogue and let us all decide as Bahamians what kind of country do we want.
Bethel says while he understands concerns that the government appears to be going against the decision of the Bahamian people on 2 referenda on the matter, he assured Bahamians that this government is nothing like the Christie administration, adding he feels that this issue was ignored due to the packaging of the referenda.
The issue of the equality of the treatment of the children of Bahamians was part of a package in each case, and so it's difficult to determine whether the views and the results of each referendum on that particular question was one directly related to the question or whether it was a result within the scenario of a package that was deemed unacceptable.
Bethel says his main focus is to remove the final decision from being up to the minister's discretion.
You know, the law says, the Nationality Act, that in the discretion of the minister, the child is entitled to registration as a Bahamian upon application. But yet, in many cases, people have had to wait or have been subjected to actual discrimination by ministers saying, I don't like your mommy, your politics, and I'm not going to help your children.
Bethel suggests that the bill be made retroactive for 17 years.
I think it would be scores, not hundreds. I think it's very rather small, the numbers. You know, it's not like you're going to have masses and masses of newly created Bahamians coming from hither, thither, and yon. That's not so. To prevent any harshness in terms of the category being children under 18, so up to the age of 17, when the bill is drafted, it would be my suggestion that it be made retroactive for 17 years.
Reporting for our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
As the nation prepares to bid farewell to former House Speaker Sir Arlington Butler during an official funeral on Friday, the attorney for Sir Arlington's widow, Hazel Lady Butler, told the media today her client is considering whether to attend her husband's funeral and has requested security by police officers. Attorney Ramona Fackerson spoke with reporters outside the Police Staff Association.
As a result, I rushed here to the Police Staff Association to request personal assistance from the police. I note that it's a state funeral. However, my client is in need, we believe, of personal police to be with her throughout from Thursday evening well into Friday for the funeral.
Sir Arlington, who is also a former Bahamas ambassador to the United States, died in hospital earlier this month after a long illness. His funeral will be held on Friday at 11 a.m. at Christchurch Cathedral. However, Fackerson says her client has harbored thoughts about missing it.
She has expressed that to me. She has been calling constantly, to the point where now Lady Butler is questioning whether or not she should even go to the funeral. I mean, that's just how broken she feels about the entire situation.
Fackerson's comments come 1 week after Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson ordered that Lady Butler be allowed to reside in the matrimonial home and plan his funeral. The emergency order was made after Fackerson informed the court that the children of Sir Arlington wrote to Lady Butler demanding that she vacate the Eastern New Providence home and have no involvement in the planning of his funeral.
We had hoped that once we left the court and we received the court order, which allows Lady Butler to reside in the matrimonial home with peace and quiet enjoyment, that, you know, all of this, some level of normalcy will come about.
Family members of Sir Arlington issued a statement today saying they will no longer be involved in the planning of his funeral. A big day for Royal Bahamas Defense Force officers welcoming home 43 of their colleagues, family members and friends after assisting residents of Dominica in the country's disaster relief operation after the devastation caused by Hurricane Irma. April Sands reports.
A month-long voyage for the HMBS Lawrence Major ship and crew, but they get nothing but a warm-hearted welcome after assisting in disaster relief for Dominicans.
I am happy to report that my officers and Marines represented our organization and our country extremely well. Their conduct and performances were outstanding, and any awards or promotions, you might have in store for them is well deserved.
A proud Lieutenant Commander Milton Monroe praised the 43 officers who joined him aboard the HMBS Lawrence Major that left Bahamian waters just over a month ago and stopped midway in Jamaica for additional relief supplies before sailing into storm-ravaged Dominica. Hurricane Maria lashed Dominica in September as a Category 5 hurricane, ripping off roofs, severing telecommunications, and devastating the small island, killing at least 15 people. The convoy assisted with relief and restoration efforts, a mission Monroe says was worth it all.
Despite their devastating experience, the people of Dominica were some of the most resilient and hopeful that we have ever met. It made the hard work in which we were engaging for the next 2 weeks that more meaningful.
The team consisted of a 19-member crew, Defense Force emergency medical technicians, carpenters, electricians, mechanics, and another 6-man team to operate a 17-piece containerized unit.
A total of 6,350 meals were prepared for education and social services of Roseau. What is more, over 3,000 meals were provided for breakfast to the students of 18 schools on the island.
While Monroe described their time in Dominica as a rewarding experience, he said the finest moment was on November 3rd, when Dominica's 39th Independence Parade and ceremony took place. Friends and family members stood by the Coral Harbor base dock this morning to welcome home their loved ones. Among those greeting the team was Minister of National Security Marvin Dames, who applauded officers who sacrificed their time in the service of their neighbors.
All of you have made the members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and Police Force, the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and your families very proud. And thank you and welcome home.
The HMBS Lawrence Major was designed to carry up to 40 20-foot containers of cargo and dry goods with a cargo fuel capacity of 60,000 gallons. It is equipped with restrooms, showers, sleeping quarters, food, and water storage units. Reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
When our news comes back from the break, the Immigration Department extremely overwhelmed. The details after this break.